The bull market's back, and I'm on the hunt for the best crypto sector. If you've been around the crypto space for as long as I have, you'll know that a bad project in a hot sector does way better than a good project in a poor sector. So to maximize our profits, I'm going to analyze all the sectors out there, and today we're focusing on the blockchain gaming sector. I'll share some pros and cons, I'll share some projects you can invest in, and I'll rank it versus all the other sectors out there. So without further ado, let's get started with the pros, aka the case for blockchain gaming projects. So the first pro is that there's a ton of proven demand for the sector. At the peak of the last bull run, there were 2.8 million people playing Axie Infinity per day. That was insane to see because no blockchain game ever got close to those numbers before. But even beyond just one hot game, this sector totally dominates all other sectors in terms of user activity. Per a recent DApp Radar report, the blockchain gaming sector accounts for 35% of all daily active wallets in crypto. That's way more than sectors like DeFi or NFTs, which account for 24% and 12% respectively. But while that's impressive, what impresses me even more is that in-game collectibles generated $2.3 billion worth of revenue during the last bull run. If that's not surefire proof of product market fit, then I don't know what is. But honestly, those numbers shouldn't really surprise you because crypto and games just make so much sense together. Think about it. In the past, gamers could not truly own their in-game assets, could not take their assets with them to different games, and could not have a say in the creative direction of their favorite games. But now, by bringing blockchain to games, everything has changed. Gamers can do all those things now, and this is huge, because gamers make up a massive consumer base. There are over 3 billion active video game players in the world, and the global gaming market is worth a whopping $385 billion. So this isn't some small sector with a low ceiling. No, it has a massive addressable market, and blockchain gaming could capture a significant chunk of it. Now, here's the thing. It's not just the gamers getting involved. The big game studios are too. And that's my next pro for the sector. I'm talking about the AAA gaming studios like Ubisoft, Square Enix, and Sega. Those have all announced various blockchain games and products. Ubisoft, the creator of Assassin's Creed, announced a new player versus player game called Champions Tactics: Grimoria Chronicles. It's going to be built on the gaming-specific blockchain Oasis. And with the marketing prowess of Ubisoft, I expect it to get a ton of exposure. Then there's Square Enix, the Japanese gaming studio famous for the Final Fantasy franchise. They've doubled down on the game Symbiogenesis, for which they sold an NFT collection back in 2021. So with all these top gaming studios flooding into the space, I can't help but to feel bullish, as it guarantees that some high-quality games are right around the corner. Now, one of the reasons these brands even care about blockchain gaming in the first place is because of my next pro, which is the fact that there are some new business models available that just weren't possible before. One of these models is called play to own, and it aligns incentives between gamers and game developers like never before. Instead of playing games for hundreds of hours on end with nothing tangible to show for it, gamers get rewarded in the form of in-game assets. I'm talking about assets that are rare and have real value within the game, not some token or coin that people just dump as soon as they can. One great example of this is Illuvium. That's an alien exploration game on Ethereum, where all the in-game characters and weapons sit in the gamer's wallets. So sure, you could go trade those assets if you wanted to, but given their utility, many people prefer to use them or play with them instead. This is quite different from Web3 games, by the way, where you pay to play, and that's that. And this is also for sure different from the first generation blockchain games that were play to earn, because most of them just ended up being unsustainable Ponzi's. But this model is actually sustainable, and it keeps gamers spending even more time and money on a game, which benefits the game developers, of course. So it's no surprise that a lot of studios are exploring these new models, as they just aren't possible in the Web2 world. Anyways, on to my next pro, which is the fact that this sector offers diverse investment opportunities. When you think about investing in blockchain gaming, you may think you need to predict the next hot game, but you don't actually have to invest in the games or in-game assets. You can invest in the infrastructure projects instead. For example, there are some exciting blockchains that are tailor-made for blockchain gaming. Immutable is one of them, and they already have over 150 blockchain games in their ecosystem. Beam is another one, and they're made by the gaming juggernaut Merit Circle, which has over 78 gaming projects in their portfolio and a formidable war chest of almost 100 million. So this sector really has something for everyone, and that's a reason it can attract more capital than other sectors. Now, my next and arguably most important pro of them all is the sky-high potential of this sector. If you look at CoinMarketCap, you'll see that the market cap of the entire blockchain gaming sector is only about $17 billion. To put that in context, the market cap of Doge at the peak of the last bull run was around 82 billion. And that's just one meme coin. So there's plenty of room for growth for pretty much every project in this sector. And that makes me more bullish on it compared to the older, larger sectors out there that have less upside, relatively speaking. Anyways, I bet you're super bullish after all those pros, but before we get to my thought-provoking cons, I want to show you this. This is a hardware wallet, believe it or not, and it's made by Tangem, who's also the sponsor of this video. A bunch of y'all who watched my previous Tangem video already bought their wallet in the past, but this is actually their brand new wallet that just launched recently. And let me just say, it's even better than before. There's a brand new design, a brand new app, and a new way to export your private key as a seed phrase that wasn't there before. But besides those things, it's just the same old easy to use hardware wallet that's just a card with a microchip plus an app on your phone. It doesn't require any fancy devices, cables, or even a computer. You literally just tap your card on your phone to sign transactions. Now, in terms of security, it is ultra secure. Their chip has the same level of certification as electronic passports, and it generates your private key in a way that never gets exposed. So yeah, they support over 1,000 coins and tokens of their wallet, so if you want to hold some of these gaming tokens, then you can get 10% off of this wallet by using my code COINSIDER. Alright, back to the cons, or the case against the blockchain gaming sector. And my first one is a big one. It's the fact that gamers freaking hate crypto and Web3 and don't want anything to do with it. Just take a look at what happened when an esports company called eFuse tried to launch its Creator League. It was supposed to be this huge event with high-profile influencers. I mean, they even got Mr. Beast to promote it. But there was one big problem. A bunch of the influencers were outraged when they found out that eFuse planned on using the Near blockchain behind the scenes. One famous streamer, CDogVA, even announced that he was pulling out completely over his hatred of crypto and NFTs. So that uproar forced eFuse to postpone the event indefinitely, and it just goes to show how much animosity there is towards the sector from regular gamers. Now, to be fair, I can definitely understand where they're coming from. During the last bull market, there were a lot of teams that sold NFTs to the public with grandiose promises of building the best video games for them, but so many of them failed to deliver, and a bunch of them straight up rug pulled. So there's understandably little trust from mainstream gamers, and without those gamers, there's no games. So this is an existential problem that the sector faces. Now, with so many gamers hating crypto/Web3, it should come as no surprise that adoption levels are still low, and that's my next con for the sector. Just take a look at Axie Infinity. It was by far the most popular blockchain game at the peak of the last bull market, but its 5 million monthly active users still dwarfs in comparison to the most popular Web2 games. Take Roblox for example. It has 214 million monthly active users. Fortnite has 231 million, and League of Legends has 152 million. So Web3 games have a long way to go to get even close to the traditional gaming sector in terms of user adoption. But this really shouldn't surprise you, right? Since there are still obstacles standing in the way of blockchain gaming. For example, the quality of these games tend to be subpar because it takes a ton of resources and experience to build a AAA quality game. It's not the kind of thing you can just bootstrap with some NFT sale and expect to build a game like Fortnite or PUBG. Also, a lot of gamers find that playing with money takes the fun out of games. And then also, blockchain games still have a clunky user experience. Like you gotta deal with gas fees, wallets, private keys, and most gamers don't want to deal with those things, they just want to log in and play. So all that's to say that builders in this sector have to address those problems if they ever want their games to succeed. Now, speaking of hurdles for the sector, another massive one is the fact that all these blockchain games have unproven business models. What comes to my mind here is the play to earn model that was super popular during the last cycle. Let's not kid ourselves. Play to earn was tried countless times by blockchain games, but they always failed because of their underlying Ponzi-nomics business model. Just look at the Axie Infinity user chart. It's been totally decimated because gamers weren't actually playing for fun, they were just trying to make a quick buck. So when the price of their token fell and the speculative loop ended, a lot of players ended up leaving. This type of mercenary behavior simply does not enrich a game's ecosystem. They extract without giving anything in return. So while I said in my pros section that play-to-own games may be the antidote to these issues, well, that's still unproven. So it's still a concern that this sector won't be able to find a sustainable business model to rely on. Phew, that was a lot of pros and cons to digest, wasn't it? But now it's time for the fun part, the ranking of the sector against all others. So far we only have layer 1s as number 1, but I'm putting gaming below it as number 2. Why? Well, because gaming has way more risk overall. Like if all those upcoming AAA games turn out to be boring, unsustainable Ponzi's yet again, then this sector is never gonna get another chance. Anyways, the next 2 sectors I'm going to analyze in this series are DeFi and real-world assets, so be sure to subscribe to catch those. Otherwise, watch our layer 1 sector video right here if you haven't already.